Hello, welcome to the Nintendo Bros podcast. This is Pete.
And this is Derek.
And this is a very exciting event, maybe the most important days of our lives.
This is the dawn of the new era for sure.
Yeah, I mean, not my wedding day, not my son's birthday, or when my kids were born. Today.
Yeah, not even when the Switch 2 comes out. It's when not even when the Switch 2 was announced. It's this specific Switch 2 Direct.
Well, yeah, I mean, if our listeners don't know, this is pertaining to the big Switch unveiling, April 2nd Direct. And you know, Derek, we've talked about this before, but there is almost something more exciting about the reveal of an amplitude of games for the very first time than it is to actually play one individually.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's this weird thing. It's this kind of like on Christmas morning, seeing all the gifts is that first big climactic rush is almost more exciting than like putting one game in, waiting for the intro, getting through this tutorial.
Totally. I felt like I got the E3 kind of feeling inside that I haven't felt in many, many years, if that makes sense.
I think this was better than a lot of their E3s in many years. Like, I can't think of the last time Nintendo had an E3 that matched this.
Yeah, I just meant the feeling. I didn't really mean like comparatively.
True. Okay. Well, I don't even know where we jump off here, Derek. Let's before we get into the games, let's talk about the console, the system itself. If you're listening here, go watch this trailer because I don't think you and I need to spell it all out.
I agree. Yeah, they should watch it first.
This is not the podcast you listen to for information. It's what you listen to our opinions on the information that you should already know.
Yes.
So Derek, I'll let you start. Like, how do you feel about like the console reveal, the specs, the controller, the accessories, the C button? How do you feel about all that? How was that?
Yeah, I think, I liked the original Switch. I think all the upgrades that they made are smart, sensible. I am looking forward to. Like, I think having the more rounded kind of shoulder buttons sounds good. The bigger joysticks, the magnetic connections. Everything sounds really good. The two that I'm kind of I don't know are actually the two main new features. One being the C button that they kind of just introduced during this Direct. I just don't see myself playing a lot of online games where I'm going to require this chat feature and this kind of, the C button. I could see it in the sense of I think it's also how you use local connections to like connect a game to 4 switches kind of quickly. I just don't see myself using that kind of party chat they kind of delved into. And the other one was the mouse function. In essence, the mouse function seems really, really cool. Like, I think it'd be super fun to play Metroid Prime 4 with the mouse function. But in my head, I'm like, logistically, a mouse doesn't work. Like, the reason a mouse doesn't work for a console is because most people play consoles on their couch. So unless they're giving us, like, some sort of pad pillow thing that, like, a laptop pillow pad that you can use, I just don't see myself ever using the mouse function. I just think it's too cumbersome. I won't have a TV table to kind of use it with. If I do, I don't really want to use a TV table to play the game. Like, it doesn't make sense to me as far as my setup goes. I get some people, they actually do play their games at a desk, and that works perfectly. But for me, it's those two features are kind of whatever. But everything else works really, really well for me.
There was one feature that you forgot to mention that was very kind of slipped under the radar. Mm-hmm. It's HD Rumble 2.
Oh, I didn't even see the 2 part of that.
There's one part where they put a little infographic, and they've updated the Rumble to some extent. So I'm hoping it's somewhat similar to the way Sony's done it in their PS5 controller, because I really enjoy it. I'm a big Rumble fanatic. I love good Rumble.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they're going to do the haptic shoulder buttons, which, again, is understandable. And the one thing I didn't mention that I actually think is another really big thing for me, and I think it's really cool, is that 120 frames on the actual handheld itself. And you and I already talked about it a bit. You're right. There's going to be very few games, probably very few Nintendo games that will utilize that. I mean, Metroid Prime 4 as an example, but I'm thinking of even like those indie games. Like, I would love if Silksong could run in 120 frames, or there's certain, even Hades 2, like games that could run in 120 frames from those kind of indie developers, I think is a great, awesome win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they mentioned this, but like they're bringing back some of the what are they called, Switch 2 edition games. Like, can Tears of the Kingdom be played at 120 frames? Like, how, I don't know if they mentioned increased frame rate. I don't know if they can do 120, especially given the original was only 30.
Yeah, it might be 4K 60 kind of thing. Yeah.
But I mean, even getting 4K 60, that's awesome. Like anyways, let me respond to what you talked about this console before we get into the games and some stuff like that. I completely agree with you. The mouse thing to me is kind of like, oh, that's like neat, and I see why it makes sense for games like Civ 7, which they announced for Switch 2. Like, it completely makes sense. I will probably absolutely never use this feature.
I just want to interject. Even imagining, I know we're talking about a game quickly, but like that wheelchair basketball game, it's like I'm envisioning myself using two of those on a table back and forth. I'm like, that just doesn't seem like fun gameplay for me.
No kidding. And you know, the other thing is, when I think about playing my Switch, the Joy-Cons practically never came off. Mm-hmm. Like they basically live on the system.
Yeah.
Because for one, the Bluetooth sensors on them were so bad that if you sit too far away, they drop out. But it was just like, I used a Pro Controller. 99% of the time I played the Switch was with a Pro Controller, and then when it was handheld, it was the Joy-Cons were attached. Mm-hmm. So the only time I can see this, I mean, even if I was playing a game like Civ 7 or Pikmin 5 or something, I would still use the analog stick
or the pointer,
or the gyro pointer. Yeah. It was funny when they showed Metroid Prime 4. They're like, oh, and you use mouse controls, and Klosky was like, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it really does. Like,
I would rather just play it with the pointer controls, like truly.
I mean, there's a few edge case examples. I feel like the mouse controls could be neat. And for one, that's like a very specific Mario Party or WarioWare style game where like you're using it intermittently. Mm-hmm. Or like Mario Maker, like a creation tool set or a drawing setup where you're just doing it for a short burst for the utility of being able to use a mouse.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I mean, everyone has a coffee table. So yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of the other stuff, I actually think the C button and the chat feature and the camera stuff is pretty cool. And I mean, it's about time Nintendo joins a system-wide chat option. I mean, Xbox has only been doing it for 23 years. But I just think it's cool. Like, they've clearly thought about this, where there's a mic in the... I don't doubt there's going to be an external mic you can use as well, like a proper mic. Mm-hmm. And headset, but they have a noise canceling microphone in the Switch as well as the Pro Controller, I believe they said. Mm-hmm. And it has someone. They showed a guy blending in the background, and the guy's still using it. It sounds like an extension of the Wii Speak technology they used for Animal Crossing on the Wii. If you remember,
I do not remember that. Yeah,
like the Wii, you'd plug it with a USB, a little mic, and it would sit at the front of your TV, and you'd be able to speak to people through that. And it was only used for Animal Crossing City Folk, I believe, on Wii. So clearly Nintendo's been playing with this technology forever, and even the thing with the camera seems pretty cool. Like, let me put aside, I'm probably not going to buy one unless I like move to some Australia and I need a whatever. But like, for the most part,
what is that?
I just mean like if it's my way to like FaceTime with someone, like,
Oh yeah, okay.
But it does seem like it's pretty intuitive. Like, I like the ability to like see. I mean, it is kind of cool to think we can be playing Mario Kart, and it seems like the camera has a technology where it can like pick out your face.
Yeah,
and
like it's cool. I would need to see it in action, working properly, consistently, not glitchy, spotty, frame ratey, like, you know, when they showed that example of the other people's screens, like it was so terrible. And I just don't think Nintendo's up to date on, one, they don't spend the money on the hardware, but two, they also they don't really have a robust internet server network kind of system going. So I'm very skeptical of the power and features and how well this is actually going to work.
Well, we did see that the it was like a lower frame rate whenever they showed like someone else's screen. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
It looked to me just. I mean, I haven't watched the direct through again. I've watched a few trailers twice, but when it did the video feed where you're just seeing like a straight feed of someone, it looked pretty clean, like a zoom picture, zoom feed. As soon as there was gameplay, it was definitely like way lower frame rate.
Oh yeah, terribly.
They also they didn't really show if. I know you were worried about this. They've got to have this where like you can make a party chat where I still only see my screen.
Yeah, and they said that you can expand the screen, but they didn't really go into better detail about it.
I mean, that has to be an option because you got to imagine someone playing on a small TV or someone playing on a docked play. Like they can't have their screens that much smaller. So that's a big deal to me. Although it should be a given, it should have been a given 4 generations ago. But like, it's nice to know that I can be playing Mario Kart and I can just press a button and invite you, and we can drop in and have voice chat seamlessly. Whether it's Smash Bros, Splatoon, like no more calling on Discord, none of that weirdness. It's not only the ability to talk with somebody else with the video or not the video. It's hopefully a seamless way to invite a friend to a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of saying too. It's like, if it's just the C for the group chat, that doesn't interest me. But if there's C for, again, like the local connection, or there's more to it, like you said, like to invite to a group party chat, it brings up the party menu or the online connection menu. There's some coolness there, but I had to see more. It just doesn't really hit me right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like it's good that it's there. You know what
Agreed.
I mean? But
yeah,
but
nothing wrong with having it.
I think it's good that it's there, and I think the fact that it has a button means there's a little more thought into it than you might think. And I really think like there is something really neat about seeing someone's face as you're playing Mario Party or Mario Kart and seeing their face above them. Like it is neat.
Yeah.
It could be really fun, and I just don't know if I want to pay $199 for the camera.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
I'm curious if you can connect a different camera up to it though.
I doubt that very much. It's going to be like Nintendo's camera.
I know, but you don't think I can connect my own USB webcam? Like, what's the difference? It's just a camera.
This is Nintendo we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Can I plug in my own Rumble Pack? Like,
well, you can plug in your own SD cards.
True. I just think this camera is going to have some sort of interface with it. Maybe you're right. Maybe there'll be third-party ones, but I think there's going to be some sort of switch to interface that tracks with your face and does some stuff that just a straight camera can't do. What do I know, though? Hardware-wise, though, really impressed by everything else. Like, I wasn't expecting them to tout HDR in 120 frames.
I know, that was cool, yeah.
So that makes me really happy. The fact that the screen itself does HDR in 120 frames, pretty happy about that.
One other piece of hardware that I want to touch on is the new Pro controller. Just because it has the back paddles, which we haven't seen on a Nintendo controller before. I've never actually played with back paddles. I don't know if you have. I'm curious I know a lot of people love them and they say they're super helpful. I'm curious to maybe get one of those controllers to try it out.
Well, I'll for sure get a Pro controller.
But I'm telling you, your other Pro controllers won't work.
Have they confirmed that?
I guess they haven't. But I guess they haven't.
I'd be surprised if they didn't. Who are we kidding?
Yeah, they look identical.
No, I'll probably get one on launch day with it. I think they'll have the new Rumble, HD Rumble too. What was the other feature they announced that I thought was really cool? Is the screen or game share, like the kind of the DS had.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
And that's something that like we haven't really seen since the DS. Like the 3DS didn't really have it, the Switch didn't have it. So the ability to like send here's my caveat though, is that it's not quite as simple, right? Like remember on the DS, if one person had a copy of Mario Kart DS, 7 other people could play with them. Through download play.
Yeah.
Download play then was like in the megabytes. Now it'll be much bigger. It'll be like, hey, let's play Mario Kart. Okay, well, what are you going to sit there and download multiple gigabytes?
Like, I'm curious if it's download or if somehow the Switch 2 becomes the streaming device.
I doubt that. There's too much lag with that.
But that's why I think that's are very specific games that it works for, though. That's why.
Or it's going to be like, hey, yeah, like I don't. Did they say Mario Kart would work? I don't know if they did.
The only one I know is like the Clubhouse games.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if something like Mario Kart 8 Switch 2 edition optioned that. And it was kind of like, hey, if you want to do this, you have to wait for a 4 gigabyte download on the second Switch.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't even know if it would send from one Switch to the other. If it's like, okay, we're sending you an unlock key that lets you download from the eShop.
Yeah, like knowing Nintendo, I'm worried that they'll find the most, cumbersome way to do this, like unintuitive. But again, we really don't have enough information to kind of. I'm curious to see more, and I think it's a cool idea. The thing that always worries me is how Nintendo executes this idea.
Yeah, and sometimes they botch it. Sometimes they do it seamlessly. We'll have to see. It just seems like with the way game sizes are, it doesn't seem download share doesn't really seem feasible.
Yeah, that's why I don't know what games will offer that.
Yeah, and I just don't know what the speed would be if like I'm going to be able to send you, and they wouldn't tout the feature if it's like only Clubhouse games. Like it's got to be something else too. So I'm just curious how that's going to unfold. But
yeah, good point.
Anyways, hardware-wise, I'm pretty happy. Like I think there could have been a little more internal memory. Like 256 gigabytes could be higher, but at least it lets the micro SD.
True, but knowing the speculative price, I think they're already pushing the limits.
You're right. Yeah. And the other thing too I'll mention is that there wasn't really any game. This doesn't relate to games. This more relates to hardware. There wasn't really a game during this presentation that made me say, "Wow, the Switch 2 can pull off that game."
Agreed. Just to jump back with hardware, it's a solid state drive, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's some sort of solid state flash memory. Yes. It's not. I mean, the original Switch is as well.
Okay, that's what I just couldn't remember that. Okay. But so back to the games. I agree. Like we're going to delve deeper into quite a few games on this podcast, but nothing really blew me away as far as like, wow, this is graphically impressive, leap forward from the Switch 1 visually that I can tell right now.
Totally. And there was no like, I mean, I guess Elden Ring was probably the game that was the biggest like, oh, that game's going to be on Switch 2. Like, cool. They could not pull it off on Switch 1. But there was no like Cyberpunk or Red Dead Redemption 2 or Doom Eternal or Indiana Jones. Not Doom Eternal, Doom the Dark Age, Indiana Jones, or anything that's like a real graphical pusher. That was like, whoa. And to be honest, even the games we saw, like I know that the stream froze for a bit. I wasn't able to see Final Fantasy VII. But it wasn't like when they showed these games, they kind of looked like PS4 equivalent. Like Elden Ring didn't look like it was running at 60 frames, the brief bit they showed. So I'm curious, I mean, I guess the specs have leaked. We know how powerful the thing is. It's just like, I guess I was expecting one game to be like, whoa, this looks great.
Agreed.
And I mean, Metroid Prime looks great, but that's a lot of that's due to like pre-baked lighting and art design. It's not because there's a lot of like, there's no real-time lighting in that game. Like it's
Yeah.
there's ways that make in Nintendo, obviously their art holds up, where like they're not using a lot of modern graphical techniques all the time. So
The one thing I will say is, I agree. I'm looking for something. It'd be nice to have seen something really visually impressive. But honestly, I'm so exhausted with playing games on the Nintendo Switch 1 that look really nice, in my opinion, like artistically, stylistically, but they just run terribly. All right, they're hitting 30, if that. Sometimes they're at slow frame rate. I would love to play so many of the games that look like Switch 1 games on the Switch 2 running 60 consistently. Like Tears of the Kingdom looks great to me. Like I have no issues with the graphics of Tears of the Kingdom. Sure, so maybe the line of sight could be further or whatever, or less pop up. But again, I'd rather play that game the way it looks at 60 frames than have a much higher graphically intensive Zelda running at 30 but clunking down to 20. I'm looking more forward to keeping the same level of graphics as the Switch 1 almost, maybe a little bit better, but also hitting just solid 60, no issues with that at all.
I mean, I think that's really a case-by-case example. I mean, something like Mario Kart World, what's it called? Mario Kart World. It's just called Mario Kart World, right?
I think so.
Or is it World Tour. Mario Kart World. It's like, it kind of looks like Mario Kart 8 at face value, but then you realize it's open world and has way more physics going on and a lot, like, sometimes it's the gameplay scope. So if the new Zelda, like the next Zelda, it runs at 30 frames, but it's doing something completely different in terms of scope, it's really just about the designer, how the design process goes.
For sure.
But in general, yeah, like I guess power-wise, I'm excited. Like I'm excited to see what comes out of this system.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some games now, Derek, because that's the meat and potatoes of it.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about Mario Kart, because that's how the trailer opened, or that's how the Direct opened.
Yep.
What a strong way to open the Direct.
Yeah, to me, this was actually the peak of the whole Direct, the highlight. Like, not that other games weren't great as well, but this was just, to me, hit everything it needed to hit. Mind-blowing, looks great, more characters, the world kind of style is really cool, off-roading, new vehicles, costume, like everything just kind of hits the right spot to me.
I agree. They nailed it. And we talked about we speculated on Mario Kart for like the last 4 years. We even have a podcast episode where we talk about the future of Mario Kart. And we talked about them going this direction. Like you and I speculated this. Maybe they listened to us and they took our idea. And I was apprehensive. I think we both were kind of like, we don't know if that's the right way to go. But the way they handle it here, by incorporating the tracks within the open world, to me is awesome. Mm-hmm. And the fact that there's like a consistent, like the cup is a consistent race, super cool. And like it gives them so much flexibility of like paths and secrets to find. And with it being like basically an open world to explore, there's going to be a big single player component of exploration involved here. Mm-hmm. And you can do that all with friends.
Yeah, I thought that feature was really cool too, actually.
Yeah, it looks great. And, in the trailer, people are going to pick it apart, but we got a glimpse of, lots of new tracks. There's weather. There's different vehicles. There's new items, it seems. Mm-hmm. The song they used was awesome. Like I'm gonna watch this trailer probably a few more times. Like I think it looks great.
Agreed.
They are bringing back a few classic tracks. It looks like there's like DK Mountain and Wario Stadium, but I think they're just the titles, and they probably have redone them.
I was gonna ask that. Like I'm assuming they're gonna have like kind of the peak features of the Mario Kart World, right? Because like they're gonna have a volcano and a Bowser's Castle. But I don't think necessarily that we're going to take old levels. But I'm curious because, seeing how big this world is, how many levels or tracks are there going to be? And, do I always need to ride to the next place? Or can I just play with my friends and just do 4 literal courses? Or are the courses you have to drive between A and B courses?
Well, I think it's one of those things where, I don't know this, but like let's say you're doing a cup, then where one track ends, there's like a short bit between that and the next course starting, but it's basically still part of the same race. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I'm not against that, I guess, but I also would love just to be able to like play 3 laps of this level.
Yeah, like a classic way to play.
Yeah, like I should be able to pick any 4 levels in the whole world and just play them with my friends, not have to drive from A to X. You know, like that's not always what I want to do.
I'm sure there's a way to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I just, I'm excited to see the Mario Kart Direct on, I think it's April 17th.
It's like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be a huge launch title for them. And I'm gonna like it's just funny that it's like already bundled with the system on day one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the Mario Kart bundle with digital, and then I'm gonna buy a copy as well and keep it sealed.
Okay.
Well, Mario Kart's like my one collection that I have, right, of
Yeah.
every game. So I'm gonna keep that going, and I just figure at this point, why not get a sealed version?
Makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, like this game looks stellar. Like,
Yeah, I think it's gonna do really well review wise. I think it's gonna be an insanely big seller.
like what an awesome evolution of the series. And the fact is, you can still play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on your Switch 2.
Yeah, so in probably 120 frames maybe. But
Well, if they release it a Switch 2 edition, and
Yeah,
I'd
of
pay
course.
for it, but that'd be awesome. But I think like it's good they like evolved this. It's smart.
I agree. Like we still have those. I don't know how many it is. 120 levels on 8 Deluxe, and now we're getting a whole world. It's like it's gonna be amazing to have both those games just be able to be accessible on the same console.
Totally. And it's just like it just doesn't feel like, oh, another Call of Duty, another FIFA, another Halo. It feels like no, you're reinventing it. And like sure the graphics aren't necessarily mind-blowing, but like it's the gameplay and the new ideas, and that's like what gets me excited about Nintendo. It's like it's cool that I think a lot of people, from what I've seen briefly, people are buzzing about this direct in this game, and it's not because of this some amazing jaw-dropping graphics. It's all because of how fun it looks and because of the new gameplay ideas.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
that's really cool. So where do we go next, Eric? I guess after that they kind of showed the Switch 2 editions.
That's what the hardware stuff.
It looks like both Mario Party and Kirby have like full-on like DLC packs involved. To me, that's a really cool idea. Like I know with so with Xbox, when they have like a modern version of it, it's basically a free upgrade. I mean, we know Xbox has to basically give their stuff away to stay competitive. With with PlayStation, you pay $10 and you get like a nice performance upgrade, and you get DualSense upgrades as well with the controller. Now I really like that with these Switch 2 editions, you're getting like actual new content.
Some of them.
Some of them, like that's just a really cool way to do it, and I really like the way they really spelled it out so cleanly. They're like, there's 3 types of games you can play on Switch too. Like it was so. I just taking a step back, the way they presented the information in this was very smart and crystal clear, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Especially that part. I totally agree.
Like there's nothing really being like, what? How does that work? I don't get that. It's like
Yeah.
they made it crystal clear. The only thing we don't know is the price.
Yeah. We
I
have some
have a-
ideas reading online, but yeah.
What are some of the ideas? Like I think it's going to be dynamically priced. Like each game will have a different price to upgrade.
So it looks like from what I saw, the US price for Mario Kart is $79.99 US, and I think it's $69.99 for Donkey Kong US.
Yeah, I did see that.
So so it can fluctuate a bit. What I also found interesting is digital prices are $10 less than physical.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah. So
Wait, question, Derek. These are American prices. $69.99 would be the equivalent of the up-priced Tears of the Kingdom, or there's common PS5 game. Am I right?
So a $69.99 in the US was the $90 game in Canada.
Okay, so $79.99 is practically unheard of.
It is unheard of. It's like that's like GTA. That's like GTA 6. I think is going to talk about that price. So
The
that's
rumors, yeah.
so. And again, the exchange rate's getting worse for Canada. So that's looking more like that could be closer to like $120, $130.
$130. You're kidding me for
No,
for $79.99.
because the exchange rate I think is about 40% right now. So if you did the proper exchange rate of $80, you're adding an extra 40, which is 120 before tax.
Well, let me just tell you, when I bought Silent Hill 2,
Yeah,
it cost me $100
yeah,
after tax,
yep.
and that was less. But here's the thing, like, you know what? If they're gonna offer this giant open world, I mean, let them do it.
You and I will talk about the price and whether our buying feelings about this at the end, okay? Because I'm humming and hawing in some ways.
I mean, it's just one of these things where as much as it sucks as a consumer, as production values go up in games, the price should slightly come up, right?
Uh, yeah,
It's just how it goes. And if they're offering a significant amount of content, then so be it.
yeah.
It's
We'll,
it's
we'll talk about this.
this
At
is
the
a
end.
whole nother topic about media prices and the world of streaming and all that. What else? So for me, I don't think I'll get the Mario Party Jamboree update. But I don't even have Mario Party Jamboree.
So I have Mario Party. The Jamboree update doesn't look like it's enough for me. Like again, I won't really play those mouse controls, whatever. I only have one Switch 2 if I get a Switch 2. So it's not like I can play the mouse controls with a whole bunch of friends. So right, because you need one per person for the mouse controls. So it eliminates that. Like it doesn't really. I'm not gonna get the camera, so that eliminates that. It's not worth the Jamboree. I will probably get the Switch 2 upgrade for Tears of the Kingdom because I beat the game, but I still have a lot of shrines I want to do and explore the world a bit more. So I'm like, oh, that's a great chance to like jump in again and spend another 40, 50 hours on Tears of the Kingdom. And
40 or 50 hours, Jesus.
is that a lot or not enough?
That's a lot. I would be like, oh, maybe 20, but yeah, okay. Anyways, go
Oh,
on.
I really want that game's on my list of like wanting to replay in a way. I just don't want to start from the beginning. I have a lot.
Yeah.
I just want to explore more.
I'm the same, yeah.
And the Kirby one looks cool because there's like a whole new world. It's like one of the ones that actually does have new content. I didn't love Kirby. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't. I think you hold it in higher regards than I do. I do like the game, but so that one I'm probably not going to get. Really depends on the price. And then Metroid Prime 4, I'll just get the Switch 2 version right off the bat. It really comes down to price too, because it's one thing to spend $10 or $15 on a Tears of the Kingdom upgrade, but if it's $29.99 or $34.99 kind of thing, which I think is in the realm of possibility, I'm going to be very careful or very hesitant to do that.
Yeah, it does come down to price. I'm hoping it's around $10. Nintendo's always been very affordable on DLC. Like, they've never charged a lot for DLC.
I think it'll be like $29.99.
Well, after the exchange rate.
Yeah, I think it'll be.
I mean, the Kirby one I'm going to have to really see because I really like, yeah, you're right. I really like that game. And the few clips we saw of it running at 60 frames made it look great. And I'm like, I'd love to just, I don't know, have that. And the Zelda looked great too. Like, we saw a little bit of like a couple scenes in the woods, and like the draw distance looks better, and it looks great. But I don't know. It really depends like when those drop, and have they guaranteed all those are going to be launch day Switch 2 editions? I don't know.
I don't know if they said launch to Switch. Sorry, Switch to launch date. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'd assume so because I think it's again one of their selling points they showed during this. I'm curious about, can I play a Switch 1 game without the Switch 1 upgrade and still see improvements just because it's on the Switch 2? Like, I'm going to give an example because, this game we're going to talk about shortly, Age of Calamity, Hyrule Warriors 2, Age of Calamity. That game runs terribly. It runs like, 15 to 20 frames at times. If I play just that game, the Switch 1 version on the Switch 2, will it just be better because it's better hardware and run smoothly at 30? I understand that, it doesn't have a 60 mode, it doesn't have whatever, but will it just run better? Or do I need to actually have the upgrade for it to get to that potential?
Yes, it will.
It will run better.
If the game has an unlocked frame rate, it should perform better.
Okay, that's because that's what I care about. Like, I would love to
Yeah.
go back and play. Like, I understand the graphics won't be better. But
Why
I'd love
wouldn't it?
to,
The CPU's faster, right? It should not bottleneck.
that's what I thought too. So I'd love to go back and play more Age of Calamity. I'd love to play some other games that were a little bit
I mean,
junky.
Echoes of Wisdom will be smoother. Same with whether I mean, I'm surprised they didn't announce Bayonetta 3 to have a Switch 2 edition because that game desperately needed it.
Yeah, but again, even that game I'm sure will run better, right?
Yeah, but it's just like the game had some. The game could use a reshine. I mean,
Yeah,
it's such
makeover,
a
yeah.
great game. Some of the graphics in it are awful. But yeah, I'm sure it will. And they also mentioned that on the hand, like I believe the handheld is 1080p now, not 720. And I believe they mentioned that the docked version of those games will now run on the handheld. So you won't be getting like a 720p or lower resolution on the handheld anymore. So
That's
even if
good.
you were playing Breath of the Wild, let's say, on Switch 2 without the upgrade, you'd be seeing it at least on the handheld in a higher resolution.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
But HDR and higher frame rates than the original spec, like a 120 frame with HDR, would need to be
It would need the upgrade. Yeah.
yeah, and whatever other additions. The thing I'm wondering though is you mentioned with Metroid Prime 4 you're going to buy the Switch 2 version. Did they even announce that there was a dedicated Switch 2 version?
Yeah. Yep.
I must have missed that. So it's not so okay. So it's not like I need to buy Metroid Prime 4 on Switch 1 and then pay for this Switch 2 edition.
So
of it.
they said when they talked about the upgrades of like Tears of the Kingdom or whatever, they mentioned Metroid Prime 4 Switch 1 has an upgrade for the Switch, like a Switch 1 upgrade kind of thing. But then they actually went and said the Switch 2 has, you can also get Metroid Prime 4 for the Switch 2, which has the 4K 60 or 1080p 120 frames.
Okay, but I can't go into a Walmart and buy Tears of the Kingdom, the Switch 2 version, in a year.
No, that's just the upgrade path.
Are you sure they're not going to offer that? Like, why not release? I guess you're right. It gets confusing. But what about, like, Pokemon ZA? Is that going to have a Switch 2 dedicated version?
That one is, I believe, yeah.
Okay, so I guess at this point, probably any game that was going to come for Switch 1 after Switch 2 comes out will probably get a Switch 2 SKU as well.
That's what I would assume for the most part, yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about some other games, Derek. So let's talk about Hyrule Warriors. What was it called? Age of something?
Was it Age of Destruction or Age of something?
And this is coming this year. I'm going to admit, Derek, I really couldn't care less about this. The moment they said that Tecmo Koei was making a game, I was actually hoping it was a Warriors game for basically anything else.
Age of
Like,
Imprisonment.
yeah, okay. Like for one, I wouldn't have minded like a Xenoblade Warriors, a Kirby Warriors, a Mario Warriors, but I mean, for one, like Hyrule Warriors, the original, has a distinct art style. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity has like the Breath of the Wild art style. This looks like just Age of Calamity 1.5. Mm-hmm. And I don't really want to pay hell $69.99 US for a game that runs at a better like a proper frame rate. It's still the same gameplay. I don't know.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
nothing sold me at all.
I just find these games. You're right. The price really is going to affect a lot of my decisions, but I really like these games. They're kind of like mindless. You know, I imagine myself sitting on the couch watching a show with my wife, and I like the games where I can kind of pause it. I can look up and watch the show, and I just don't really need to invest fully in the game, but it's still a fun game that interests me. So this is one that maybe it really honestly depends on what other games are out at the time. You know, again, like Hades 2 was shown off a bit. Hades 2 is coming out at the same time. I'd much rather play that than this. But I'm always down for Zelda games. So yeah, I'm on the fence. I'm not, day one sold or anything.
I guess I would have been more. I would have been better off with them just saying, yeah, and you can get the Switch to an edition of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, and it runs at 60 frames, and it has online play, and it has a few of the things you wanted. Age of Calamity, I never even beat. The game is humongous. It has so much content. Like, I basically stopped playing it, and I don't know. It's not like I beat that game and I was demanding more from that gameplay style. Like,
Totally. And again, that also plays a role where it's like, I just said I want to go back and play some more Age of Calamity. I'll probably get my fill from that alone. And this is the one of those games where I'm curious why they didn't just make an Age of Calamity Deluxe and then put a bunch of this content in there and like make the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe kind of game where they just
no kidding.
Yeah.
Or make it a slightly higher cost Switch 2 edition. Mm-hmm. Also, at this point, I'll probably stop playing anything on Switch 1 full stop. Until
I haven't played my Switch 1 in 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, I play Mario Kart or Smash once in a while, but it's like at this point, I'm definitely not going to get Xenoblade Chronicles X until there's a Switch 2 edition.
Yeah.
And like,
but there might not be a Switch 2 edition.
There's got to be, because there was a hidden data mined it and found 60 frames, and like it needs it. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm glad. It's like they did everything they should have done with regards to this. People were worried they weren't going to talk about graphics at all, and I'm just glad like Nintendo acknowledges like, yeah, HDR, 120 frames, 4K. Like, thank you. Upgrade your old games that don't run that well. Like, there's a world where they just completely skirted over all these graphical issues and didn't talk about it, and we were like, half a year ago, people weren't even sure the Switch 2 would play Switch 1 games. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, nope, it'll put the cartridge in, get it upgraded. It's exactly what you'd expect. It's like modern in a way that I'm actually not used to Nintendo sounding like,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're doing what you're supposed to do. Thank you, Nintendo. Jesus. Okay, let's talk about another game they showed. The From Software game. Mm-hmm. What's it called?
The blood-stained? No, the Shadow Blood. Shadow Blood?
Look it up. I don't know.
Dusk Blood. That's what it is. Dusk
Blood. I mean, this... Apparently Miyazaki is directing this.
Yep, I saw it too.
It is exclusive. It's a multiplayer game.
I saw it, yeah, multiplayer.
I guess that turns a lot of people off. I don't really know... I don't play From Software games the way you do, and I don't really know how multiplayer to me has always been kind of weird in their games. Like, it kind of feels janky.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What do you think about this, Derek? You're the From Software guy.
Yeah, I mean, even from the trailer, it didn't quite look like the style they normally go for. And I don't mean just like it looked more, Bloodborne-esque. I meant it just doesn't look like the polish in a way. Like, it doesn't have quite the same atmosphere or feel or animations. It being multiplayer, I think, is a big kind of pull away from me too. Like, Night Rain just doesn't interest me, and I'm curious what the multiplayer and what this game kind of looks like and flows like. I'm curious if you can, if it actually is a story in a world and you can play it single player. I really don't know. Like, this game is kind of like, it's From, so I have sort of faith in it, and it's definitely in my realm of interest, but it also is not exactly what I was expecting when I first saw it was a From Soft game. So, I don't know. Again, I'm not super sold on it, but it's interesting. It's cool that they have this.
It to me seems kind of early. Like, it's like early in development. They said 2026. It's one of the few 2026 games they announced. Mm-hmm. If not the only one.
I can't think of another one.
Yeah, that's like a big kind of drop game. And I also think that, like, it might be like a 2027 game. Like, I can see it coming in like January, February, March 2027. And, like, it's not even in full hardcore development yet. Like, it's still early stages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't do much for me, but I can see why it does for other people. I don't think it was the mega drop that...
Needed to be like the end of the show's kind of stopper.
Yeah, it wasn't the end of the show, though. They showed Donkey Kong after that.
And Kirby Air Riders. But
that's right.
Yeah, I understand that, but like as the final third-party game, like, you and I both mentioned Silksong. I wish the Silksong wasn't a half-second clip and they had a better, that was in it. And
I agree.
I don't know. Dustblood is like it's not really the Nintendo target market. I like that they're catering to mature audience in a way, but just didn't hit right. It wasn't as big as in Monumental as I think they thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to make a lot of. It is going to, in a
It'll make
headline, it's going to
headlines,
sound
yeah.
great, and I'm sure people are. I know a lot of people like in Reset Era don't like it that it's multiplayer, but I think Nintendo probably saw it as like a big mature exclusive that they've landed. But it just like it doesn't look that great.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look that great. But it's years away, so cool, I guess. Let's talk about the other two Nintendo first-party games before we get into like third parties, which was Kirby Air Riders and Donkey Kong. First, the Kirby Air Riders game is like a wild announcement. Like that's like them announcing Geist 2 or
Eternal Darkness too.
Eternal Darkness 2 or Star Fox Adventures 2. Like this kind of like deep cut GameCube game that didn't sell super well. I have Kirby Air Ride, by the way. I rented it. We rented it. I played it a bunch.
I remember it. Yeah.
It's kind of a half-baked game because they had like a prototype Kirby Air Ride on N64 that like I guess was then moved to GameCube, and it's actually the only Kirby game on GameCube, believe it or not. And it's also like you basically control the game with one button. So
Yeah,
it's like
A
analog,
for go. Yeah.
A for go, and then you tap A for weapons, and you tap A for like when you're trying to drift. Like it's kind of a rotten control scheme, and it's one of those games where like when you get a certain vehicle, it's the best vehicle. Like it's not balanced at all. They also seemed to rush this game out because they put in some sort of like top-down mode, which is like a mini game, and they made it seem like it was 1/3 of the game. It's like an old, like a top-down racing.
Yep.
It's weird because I think the main racing game just didn't have enough chutzpah. And then they have this other mode called City Trial, which is kind of the most fun mode of the game, where you can go around with a friend and like basically explore this giant world that like you can like collect things and it changes, you trigger events. It's like kind of this weird multiplayer thing where it's like you explore but you can fight. It's like do little missions, and it's like there's always something to that City Trial mode that was very cool. So I'm kind of hoping that this game, I mean, I'm excited for this. They say it's coming this year. I'm kind of thinking that this is going to be Sakurai's way to like rectify the first one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Did he make the first one too?
He did, yeah. Like he's basically done Smash Bros, Kirby Air Ride, and like Meteos.
I think this is also
puzzle
kind of
games.
his and Kid Icarus, and I think this is kind of his fun project. You know what I mean? Like I don't think I think he's doing almost like a passion project that Nintendo said, hey, like what do you want to make? And he's like, I'd love to do this, and they said, go for it.
Absolutely. I think it's like he gets to make whatever he wants to make.
Yeah, agreed.
And there is a world where this game could be awesome. Like I have trust in Sakurai. Like he hasn't really made a bad game like since Kirby Air Ride. I love everything he makes. I would have rather them do a Kid Icarus like remaster or sequel. But I'm open for it. The only thing that kind of makes me confused is like if the game's coming this year, why not show off a little more to it?
But you know what? We might tomorrow and Friday.
I think they told us what games they're going to show at that thing.
Oh, they did. I didn't know that.
They did. They did the treehouse and quickly scanned through the games and like this and Hyrule Warriors are not being shown. It's going to be like Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, and I think that the wheelchair game.
Yeah, Dragon Dunk or something.
And I think like Mario Party Jamboree upgrade and like
not Metroid Prime 4 though.
Yes, and Metroid Prime 4.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we forgot. What do you think about that wheelchair game? Like, I mean, to me, it's like a side little thing that could be a fun like micro game, but
yeah,
not
like
interested.
I when we were watching, I thought of ARMS and kind of how ARMS utilized the Joy-Cons effectively, and I really liked ARMS. This game looks a lot less invested in depth about it. I go back to the point of I envision myself holding the two mouse controllers on a table and squeaking them back and forth to move, it does not sound fun to me. Like, it just doesn't. That's not a fun way to play, and I don't want to do that. So as much as I would gladly try this game, I would definitely not buy it, and it's just not for me. And that reminds me, we should talk about that other game that is like it explains the Switch 2, but it costs money. I don't remember what that was called, but that was the most ridiculous thing of the whole show.
I mean, the thing is, to me, is that it's a really cool idea. It's almost like a more technical version. It's like Astro's Playbot without the playing, and it's more like a technical breakdown. And like,
yeah, but just that should be built. That should just be part of the system to explain the system.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that it costs money, and it should be extremely cheap or free with this Nintendo service online.
Yeah.
Like the idea that they're basically giving you like a kind of a cool instruction manual and like behind the scenes look at the system and like they're charging for it is like.
That's why I'm really skeptical about the cost of things.
It's so blasphemous. It's like that they're clearly going to include nothing for free. Give us that. Like at least like give me some sort of cool little nook to play with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean at least they didn't announce like a price increase for Nintendo's online, right?
Yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Really.
Jeez, no, I spent all my money on your old retro games, complete in box. I can't afford any of the new stuff.
Well, I just think now that they're having that party chat group thing, they will increase the price of the service.
Needless to say, Xbox is getting traded in.
Yeah, Xbox being traded in for sure.
I'm half joking because I still want to play Doom. But yeah, like that does seem really cool. Like I'm like, wow, they're giving a lot of information about how these magnets work. But man, if this is more than $5, like I'm not paying for that. I'll just watch.
Would you honestly pay for it if it was $5?
Yeah, if it was $5 Canadian, I might pay for it. But to be honest, I feel like I could also just go on YouTube and watch like someone go through every option.
Yeah,
exactly. It really depends how comprehensive it is. Because like, are there mini games in it that like?
I thought there was. I thought there were like little mini games for it.
Like that might be cool. It's like, hey, like that's probably where using the mouse would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, the mouse to me is like some people are gonna love that. It's gonna work for Mario Maker, but yeah, I don't know. The wheelchair thing doesn't look fun at all. The only way I can see it being, interesting is if it's like somehow seen as a workout. People are like, whoa, I really break a sweat playing this game. It seems like a tech demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I guess the last game to really talk about here is Donkey Kong, isn't it, Derek?
Yes, and I think that's a good one to kind of delve deeper into.
So, I'll start off. I think it looks amazing. I've watched the trailer again. This looks really, really good to me. It looks like it looks great. I'm like, it's like they're envisioning Donkey Kong, and it's like a really fun kind of open world, but fast moving platforming, but with some like really cool destruction elements. And it's got kind of that really nice visual things exploding and breaking and big world exploration. And it comes out soon. Like it comes out in July, like 1 month after the Switch. And it's clearly the game that the Mario Odyssey team has been working on. I'm glad they didn't just roll into another Mario right away. I feel like this game's probably been complete for a while based on the rumors. And based on like the polish of it, like it's got to be finished. Like who are we kidding? The game looks completely finished.
It's coming out in July. It's got to be finished.
Yeah, I mean, like, and with a game that's open world like this, like they've been QA testing it for a while, and it just looks like inventive and fun. And like at first when DK started running around, I'm like, oh, the world looks empty. But then I realized I'm like, oh, but the world's huge, and you move really quickly, and you can like dig into the ground anywhere. And it like has there's an element where like you go into 2D and it's like classic Donkey Kong Country, and it's like. Looks like it's got
there's an underground world too, just like Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, it's in an underground world. I was under the impression that any polygonal surface you can dig into.
You could dig into it. That's true, but there's like it looks. The thing I really like about it is there's very few games that are one open kind of like this, but also extremely destructible. Like everything looks like it can be broken and picked up. And dug through, so that's really cool. But there's also like, if you watch the video again, there's a part where he actually digs down and like enters a whole nother subterranean area. Like there's a second world or area underground.
Yeah, it looks like the whole world is interconnected. Like it doesn't look like it's like when DK jumps in that giant pipe and goes all the way down. He's like in an underworld area.
Yeah.
It might be a load point there, but it just seems like the whole world is seamless. Like you're not in a map screen or a
Oh
hub.
yeah. I don't think there's a map screen like that. No, I agree.
I can't believe we're getting like a big open world 3D platformer Donkey Kong game in 2 months.
Yeah, it looks really nice, and I'm excited for it, and I have total faith in the team that's making it. And the only thing that concerns me is one, while the destructible environment looks really cool, I do kind of agree with you. It did feel kind of empty. And open world games do suffer a bit where it's like there's just nothingness in a lot of the area, and you can kind of just go around and avoid a lot of the kind of big things. Like I think of Mario Odyssey, like the desert world. It's just there's some cool stuff, but there's also just like a lot of nothingness. And I hope that this isn't like that. The other thing is, when I think of Donkey Kong from Retro or even the older games from Rare, there's a level of difficulty that I really enjoy and kind of really clean platforming. And this game looks a lot more free, but also a lot easier and liberal with where you can go and what to do. I hope there's still some difficulty in the game because right now it looks really, really easy. It looks fun.
Let's not judge yet because the Mario Odyssey team has always kind of included good challenge in the later part of the game.
Oh, I don't think that. I think Mario Odyssey was a joke.
Well, not the Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, so the very one level of post game content. That's my whole point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's not. Yeah, you're right. But I see what you're saying. I mean, 2D platformers are always a little more technical than 3D, just because of the nature of them. But I think the thing with this that feels refreshing with the kind of more open environment, let's call it, is that you can traverse it extremely quickly.
I thought that was cool too.
And so it almost is like, you know what? I don't necessarily want like the idea of a 3D platform where it's like, okay, here's a bustling, busy, lots of detailed environment. Well, now because of the way I've been trained from this genre of 3D platformer, I guess I need to scour over every single square inch of this place for every coin and rupee and thing I can find. And yes, it's fun in something like Astrobot where like everything's bouncing, and Mario where everything's bouncing and the controls are fun. But that whole element is a little tired. And there is something like with something like Mario Galaxy where like no, you can just kind of like turn your brain off a little bit, and it's like exploring can be tiring if that makes any sense.
Tedious is a good word too.
Tedious, and it's
Cumbersome.
like it fills in like an OCD thing for me where it's like, oh, I need to collect everything. I don't want to miss anything. I got to go back. I got to come back and see everything. And it actually doesn't feel that fun. So like to be in an environment like this feels a little bit refreshing where it's like, no, there's not a million bananas to collect and coins and this and this and this. Hopefully there's limited collectibles.
I think it's
and
a
all
lot.
Yeah, but from the trailer, it didn't look like I have to scour every little thing and break every tree and break every rock and break every bush. Like, it seemed a little more like, no, like, there's just this giant mountain and there's a giant island over there and you just need to get there.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I don't have the same opinion as you. Like, I'm not criticizing the game, but I think there'll be more collectibles and more like, I'll still have that feeling of I've got to find everything and got to break every single thing and dig every hole.
Maybe. I was under the impression you can dig a hole anywhere you want.
I agree. I'm just saying there's going to be some that actually lead to something significant and some that just digging a hole for the sake of digging a hole.
Okay, well, let's see. I mean, I have faith that this team has taken the criticism over Mario Odyssey to heart because they seem like a team that has taken criticism to heart in the past, and I think Odyssey got a little too close to that Donkey Kong 64 level of like too much to collect everywhere all the time. That it kind of, if you're going for all of it, it really sours the game. I'm hoping this can strike that perfect balance. And especially being a brand new franchise, I mean, a brand new envisioning of a franchise, like they do have a little more freedom to explore that. But in general, other than Mario Kart, this was the game of the show for me.
Agree. I totally agree. I'm not saying it looked bad or anything. I think this is the number 2 best game of the show as well. Like I was saying, I have total faith in the team that's doing it. Like, we've only seen 2 minutes of the game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, I agree. Now let's quickly talk on the third party stuff. Was there anything that stood out for you? Like anything that you're like, oh, I got that sounds great.
No, honestly, because it's nice to see Silk Song having a 2025 release date, if that holds true. Nice to see Hades 2, Enter the Gungeon 2. Like, those games all look great, but I think I might get some of those on the PlayStation anyways. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, it is interesting that Street Fighter 6 kind of gets its own version on Switch 2, which is like the all fighters version, right?
Just for
like,
years 1 and 2. It's just like getting all the seasonal content.
yeah, totally. But they used to do it. They used to do like Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 2 Alpha, Super Street Fighter 2. Like people are kind of like, oh, is this like the Super Street Fighter version? What else? Was there anything else that was a significant third party drop? I mean, we all expected Final Fantasy VII.
And Elden Ring, and then Bravely Default remake.
And Hogwarts getting a graphical upshine is kind of nice. That was a huge game. Um, I will say, in general, I did expect quite a bit more from third parties.
Oh, that's
Was
interesting.
Did Ubisoft have anything?
Um, Not that I can think of.
What
Ubisoft is in dire straits right now.
Yeah, but it's like, well, I don't know. The last Assassin's Creed seemed to sell really well.
Yeah,
I guess Star Wars Outlaws is coming.
Oh, yeah, they
port.
did show that. You're right.
And it's just like,
I didn't really care about the third party. I actually thought that this direct was, I mean, maybe lacking in third party too. I thought the direct was actually lacking in first party as well.
okay, well, let's touch on that in a sec. Let's talk about the third parties here.
Okay.
I also thought another big omission was Microsoft. There were so many rumors and speculation that Microsoft was going to show up in a big way. They weren't there at all. And it's like, are they going to have their own announcement? Like, I'm surprised at the very least, like, Hi-Fi Rush didn't get a port. Or
that would have been a good choice.
everyone was thinking Halo was going to come, or Forza Horizon 5, or Indiana Jones, or any of their big games. Avowed, even. I was predicting they were going to have Starfield. Literally nothing, unless you count Tony Hawk 3 and 4, which is Activision.
The only thing I can imagine is Nintendo is very careful about what they screen into their directs, and they probably had a lot of dialogue in that scenario and said, we are not going to put Microsoft in our direct for the Switch 2.
Why? It'd be a power move.
Yeah, but in some ways they're a direct competitor, and having Microsoft logo or I don't know. I'm just telling you, Nintendo is very careful about those things, and they might look at that and say, we're happy to have Xbox games shown later, but like for our Switch 2 thing, we're not putting one of our two main competitors in the show.
Yeah, or it may have been something where it's like, hey, third parties, we're keeping you at bay because of leaks. And we also heard rumors that there's like not a lot of development kits out there. But maybe it's like, send us one of your trailers for a game coming out in the first 5 months.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it went down. And Capcom was like, okay, we'll get Street Fighter and, Bravely Default and Final Fantasy VII. And like a few games were able to get there. But maybe if there's another direct coming for more games in the future. I just expected to be a little more excited by the Western third parties. Like, I don't know, something from Bethesda or a Halo collection or something that was like, wow. And I think FromSoft being the big exclusive third party didn't really do it for me. Like, I mean, even like Final Fantasy IX, something like a big drop would have been cool. Dragon Quest 12 reveal, something a little more. I mean, even Konami was not there. Where's Metal Gear Solid Delta coming to Switch 2 would have been cool.
That is not coming. I
know.
I think there was that article that said a lot of developers, like many developers, don't have the Switch 2 dev kit. So we don't really know, besides like, let's say the Japanese developers that Nintendo really trusts, maybe a lot of developers don't actually have it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no way to know. I mean, yeah. But I think in general, like, we're not going to have like a superpower launch when it comes to third-party options. I think it's going to be.
I think the whole year is looking still a little weak, in my opinion. Again, we can talk about that more in a second, but yeah.
I don't disagree, but I also think like having a June launch and then Mario Party followed by DK, like those are two AAA Nintendo
Mario Kart,
exclusives. What did I say? Mario Party?
Mario Party, yeah.
Mario Kart. I think that's pretty powerful. Also, Derek, we should just touch on, we didn't talk about the Nintendo Direct the other day with Metroid Prime 4. Let's talk about Metroid Prime 4 a little bit.
There's one other thing I want to talk about for this Direct, too.
Yeah, like, I feel like the way, like, for one, I've pored over the Metroid Prime 4 trailer from the other day. I think it looks great and beautiful. I'm really excited for it.
I think it looks okay.
I think it, like, I just love the art direction of that team. And clean 60 frames a second, and just the music and the vibe. I think it'll be great. Just the way they've been marketing this game seems wrong. And if I was in charge, I would have literally not even mentioned Metroid Prime 4 once until today. And I wouldn't have shown this trailer from clearly the first 10 minutes of the game. Like, that's it's people have broken down. I've watched many videos breaking down the trailers for Metroid Prime 4. Mm-hmm. We've only seen the intro. Like, we've literally only seen them like the first, because people can look at how many life bars you have and everything, like, and look at the mini map and like put it all together. They've literally showing this demo area, probably the area we're going to see in the Treehouse demo, where they're going to show off the first beginning of the Psychosis features, easy shooting, and like a few linear areas to get to the first story bit. Like, we've basically seen nothing.
Yeah.
And we've seen like the prelude where it's like you land on the planet before she has the third eye, like the whole intro with Stylix. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't know. I probably would have marketed this game differently, where it's like not showing us some weird intro part with a bad narrator, and just giving us like a banging 1 minute trailer of bosses and different areas and environments, and like don't even describe the Psychosis abilities. Just show it happening. Let us figure it out. Yeah. And just release it during the Switch 2 launch and be like, and also give us a release month. Freaking September, October, November, whatever it is, just tell us.
Yeah, yeah.
And then say afterwards quietly, oh yeah, it'll be on Switch 1 too. Like, just
yeah,
just
it makes
do
way
it.
More sense.
Like, just make us the way they've rolled this out is so unexciting. And it's too bad, because it's like my most anticipated game. And the thought that from June to the end of the year we get a new 3D DK, Mario Kart, and Metroid Prime is a banging year for a Nintendo gamer.
Yeah.
I think at this point I think Metroid Prime's going to be a holiday game.
I think it will be the holiday game.
I agree with maybe like a Mario Sports
Party
or something.
or Sports, and then Pokemon. Like
Kirby in October, Pokemon in November, Metroid in November kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know. I guess it makes sense they want DK to be, it makes sense why they want DK and Mario Kart to have their own spot in the sun when it launches, but I don't know, maybe a September would be good for it or something. I mean, they are showing gameplay of it at the Treehouse, so it probably is finished.
Yeah, you never know. We might even get a release date at the Treehouse.
True. Yeah.
They've done those things before. Yeah.
Hopefully that comes. I mean, I would like it if it was like September, and then maybe Kirby and Pokemon come later. But I don't know. I think I'm excited for Metroid. But yeah, the way they've unveiled it has been badly marketed.
Agreed. It just kind of has fallen flat as far as promoting it.
And look at DK. Look at Mario Kart. Look how banging those reveals were.
Yeah. Agreed.
So you think the first party lineup was soft?
Now that I recall Metroid Prime 4 and even Kirby Air Riders, I don't think it's that bad. I actually think it's better than I thought it was. I just, for some reason, none of the games, like for me, Mario Kart is the game. Donkey Kong, it looks good to me. I don't know if I'm going to love it. I have to see more because it's just kind of a new take on it. Metroid Prime 4, like you said, the promotions have just made me feel very indifferent about it so far. I'm sure I'm going to love the hell out of that game. If anything, that's the reason I'm going to be getting a Switch 2, just because I don't want to play it on my Switch 1. But neither of those games have kind of made me go, yeah, oh my god, I'm so excited for this. This first year is worth getting a Switch 2 day one. Mario Kart's there. Metroid Prime 4 is there, but the promotion's not. And Donkey Kong is just an unknown entity to me right now. Like I would have loved to see just something else that would have got me more excited, or had shown those in a way that would get me more excited. They just haven't really hit my personal wants. So the Switch 2 right now, like I think I'm gonna probably pre-order one and get one just because Metroid Prime 4 and Mario Kart. But honestly, like I could go easily waiting a year or more for the Switch 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, this I guess we're kind of giving our overall feelings now. I guess here's the thing, like, in everyone's dream list, it was like, yeah, a new 3D Mario and Mario Kart and, Metroid and maybe a tease of Smash and maybe a tease of Animal Crossing or Luigi's Mansion, like basically sequel listing. And it really feels like, I mean, there are sequels, who are we kidding? But it does feel like there was surprises, and it's like the Donkey Kong alone, rather than a 3D Mario, is a surprise. So there's that kind of feeling of like being a little bit challenged by what they showed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, Mario Kart, I think, was their safe, amazing bet. Clearly focus tested, and they really, I think they nailed that.
Agreed.
As their killer app for the year. But you're right. Like I think the one thing that would have changed is that if Kirby Air Ride was a new Smash Bros. Teaser, everything would have been different.
Yeah.
But it is like, it's just kind of weird to be like, oh, cool. Like, there's a Kirby Air Ride, and there's there's Donkey Kong, 3D Donkey Kong. But, Hyrule Warriors fell flat for me for sure. Like that's just like a don't even bother type of feeling. I think you're right that it would have been helpful to have like one more teaser that was like, maybe something from Monolith Soft. I see online that people are speculating that there's like more to be revealed for this year. I'm skeptical of that. Like, I don't think I saw people at Reset be like, oh yeah, they must plan to reveal the 3D Mario later this year, for later this year.
No, I think we got the whole year.
I agree, and I think the Switch family's in a position where the Switch One was so strong and has so many games that are still selling so well, like Mario Wonder and Mario Odyssey and the Zeldas. Nintendo's not really in a rush to like replace those. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be like, let's do some different things. Let's do a Kirby Air Ride. Let's get our Metroid out. That might continue for a while. Like, we might not see a 3D Mario early next year. We might get, I don't know, Star Fox.
We probably won't see a 3D Mario till like 2028.
Oh, I can see holiday 2026.
Okay.
For sure. I really think they're not going to wait that long. It's an evergreen title. I think Donkey Kong's been done for a while. I mean, you got to remember, the team that made Odyssey has made nothing since Odyssey.
Yeah.
They didn't do Bowser's Fury. They didn't do Mario Wonder. They made Odyssey, and then they've been working. Mm-hmm. I'm led to believe that Donkey Kong is like been done for a while, because it was rumored like 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. I'm led to believe that the new 3D Mario, is like deep in development, if not close, and it's like trying to pull a Breath of the Wild type of insane big new idea. Who knows? Cool. Yeah. So I think Nintendo's not just like going to be empty-handed in 2026 and like.
Oh, I don't think so either. Yeah.
But I do firmly believe that we saw 2025's calendar lineup.
Agreed.
I think there probably will be third-party games that we don't know about coming out.
So let me move to the next. I know we're wrapping up pretty soon. So let's talk about one overall thought on the Direct. So what's your overall kind of rating? What do you think? And then also, the price has kind of been rumored about. Knowing the price, what games are you going to be day one? Are you going to get the Mario Kart bundle? And what games are you kind of saying, yeah, these games are definitely on my grab list for this calendar year?
Well, I'm for sure getting Switch 2 on day one. Okay. I'm going to go pre-order. I don't think we can pre-order it yet, can we?
I think it's next week. I saw someone say the 8th.
Do you still want me to pre-order 2 if I can?
Yeah, for sure.
Because you got to put money down at these places.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get it for sure. It's gonna be expensive though. You're right. 450 seems like what I expected it to be.
You know, you can just so you know, you can always cancel the pre-order, right? You get
Yeah,
your
but
money
then again,
back.
what good? Okay, good to know. But I'm not surprised by the price at all. Like I think it could have it could have been higher. It could have been. Some people are. I see people freaking out about the price. I think the price is totally expected. It's only $100 more than the OLED, and it's like, what do they want? $50 more than the
I know,
OLED?
but
The thing
I
is way
think
more powerful.
when I bought the PS5 was 650. It looks like the Switch 2 will be 650. I think the value in the PS5 is more justified. The value in here for 650 is crazy.
But that's only because of the exchange rate.
Uh,
The PS5 was never came out at 449 US. It was 499 US. So
yes,
a brand new PS5
yes,
is like $700 Canadian or 750 now.
yes, you're right. The exchange rate has made that a bigger thing, but even the $50 difference, like I need to see more from the Switch 2 to make me feel like that's a worthy price to spend on it. It hasn't been like, oh my god, that's a $700 system or $800 after tax, right? And then you add a game, like you're looking at spending $1,000 on
Well,
one day.
wait. A 450 system will be about 650 Canadian.
Yeah, so 650 plus tax is about 750, $800.
No, it's not. It's not. It's like an extra $70 of tax. So it's like
650, so it's 100. So
$725.
650 times 1 point or 1.13 is like $734 or something.
Yeah,
Okay, so then you add an extra game.
Mario Kart, which is $100.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm no, but the
830.
Mario, but
You buy a pro controller. There's another $100.
the Mario Kart bundle though gives you Mario Kart for $50.
Okay,
Just keep that in mind. The digital
Okay.
version.
Okay, so now you're at 800 then instead of 850. You're at $800. You add a controller, $900, and then you're gonna buy another game in 4 weeks later. You're looking at $1,000 in 3 weeks on a. Is it worth it? Yeah, maybe. I'm. That's a lot for me to swallow.
Well,
$1,000
maybe
to play Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong only for $1,000 is like, ooh, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Here's some ways to swallow that pill. Is that for one, you don't have to buy Pro Controller if the old Pro Controllers work, and two, the prices are never going to come down anyways. You know what I mean? Like maybe our dollar gets better in
Yeah,
Canada.
but if I like to buy games used.
Okay, fair. I mean, look at the price of a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe used. You're going to save $10-15.
That's not
Nintendo
true.
used. Well, Nintendo used games are not that much cheaper, depending on what they are.
I agree, but it's like I can find Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for $50 instead of 90 or 80 or whatever it is.
Sure, sure. I mean, my plan is to buy the Mario Kart bundle on launch day, and a Pro controller.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I'm not going to buy. And they must know the price is sensitive because I'm not going to go and buy. None of those third party games appeal to me. Maybe if they announce like a Halo collection or something really enticing, I'd go for it. But I mean, also, I don't have time to game insanely. You know what I mean? Like,
But that's where I struggle. Where it's like, is it worth spending the $700 on a system to play one game every 4 months?
well, the price of Switch 2 is never going to come down. And you know, if it's a way that I can play that and then a month later pay $15 to jump back into Tears of the Kingdom with better graphics, and 15 a month later play Donkey Kong, and then a month later play Metroid, like it's worth it for me. I don't want to play these games on Switch, and I don't want to. I do want to play the new Donkey Kong, and I do want to play Metroid Prime at 120 frames,
Yeah.
or 60 frames, 4K. I'll probably end up playing 4K. 60 frames and 120 frames is cool, but I'd rather have the resolution bump.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, I'm excited. Like I'm definitely gonna get Mario Kart and a Switch 2. 1 month later comes a big AAA. I'm surprised they have Donkey Kong coming out that soon. I was for sure like, we're like, oh, that's their November game. So to have a brand new Mario Kart and a brand new Donkey Kong, that's a better lineup than the Switch had. Like the
Yeah.
Switch had to share Breath of the Wild with the Wii U, and then we had a Mario Kart port, and we had ARMS, and then a Splatoon that kind of felt the same. So it's like this is like two brand new big games. Mm-hmm. And then at some point this year, I'm gonna get Metroid Prime 4. That might be all I get. like I don't care about Hyrule Warriors. I'll have to. I mean, Sakurai. Like I'll probably see what he does, but I have a lot of faith in Sakurai to like make Kirby Air Ride awesome. Like just knowing his design aesthetic and his sensibilities. Like probably maybe in the holidays I'll look for Kirby Air Ride.
Riders.
Kirby Air Riders, because yeah, it might have like a really fun online mode and great like blistering fast 60 frame gameplay.
Yeah.
It's also nice, like to be honest, I know I collect all these GameCube games. It's more for just like shelf to keep on the shelf, but it is nice to be like, well, now I can play F-Zero GX in 1080 with like in a high resolution, with save states and with like modern things, and we can maybe one day play Smash Bros. Melee online together. Like there's some things that GameCube option is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a cool feature too. Yeah.
Like like all those games are online, so like playing Soul Calibur 2 online will be fun. And it's like not like I'm gonna dive into it, but it's been a lot of fun to play in 64 online with my buddy and just like jump into Mario Kart, jump into tennis, like little here, little there. You can also do the thing where you share the game. I don't know if you know about this. Like we played Banjo, where like he plays, I watch, and he gives me control. I play, he watches. Like it's
That's
actually
cool.
it's really fun. Like we got really far in Banjo Kazooie. So, and we're like, oh, if Diddy Kong Racing comes out, we'll do that together too. So, yeah, it's, I mean, like kind of as an overall direct, I feel like they checked all the boxes as far as like they have the big exclusive, cool, creative. They have Nintendo creativity. The console has the power and the 4K and the memory and everything. The chat option. It's like everything people wanted. GameCube, backwards compatibility. The price seems, other than the exchange, the price is where people would expect it. I mean, it's only, some people expect it to be $3.99. It's only $50 more than that.
The games are expensive.
The games are, that's like really expensive. I would hope that like Mario Kart is just jam packed full of like I don't expect any DLC or microtransactions in this game. With that price, like it's got to be packed full of game.
Yeah, agreed.
And if DK's not that price, I don't expect Metroid to be that price. I just think it's because it's like basically a giant open world with multiplayer and online and this and that and tournaments and cups, and I can see costumes. I can see why it's such a chock full game. They want to go that price.
Yeah.
I do agree. Like there wasn't anything that was like that megaton thing where it's like, oh man, and GTA 6, oh man, a new Star Fox, a new Smash Bros. Like they could have used that one little thing.
And I honestly, like, but you hit the nail on the head. They could have made that thing Metroid Prime 4 if they just did it better.
Totally. You're exactly right. But even
like,
still,
like truly, imagine we hadn't talked about Metroid Prime 4 at all this past 12 months. Right? We're like, where is it? Is it coming? What's the deal? Nothing. And then we got a good 2-minute trailer. Like, oh my god, it's coming this year for the Switch 2. Like that would have been wicked.
Totally agree. I think that's just like honestly a marketing issue. It's like they just unveiled it poorly, and sometimes when you unveil a game, you need to just like show us a big table full of different food options, not just show us the appetizer. It just doesn't work, right? I don't think any game should, unless it's like some sort of weird Resident Evil teaser trailer, like Resident Evil 7, the little teaser they give you. Like that's an okay appetizer, but you've kept us waiting for 7 years and the game's coming this year. Don't just show us like the intro part with the most basic parts.
Exactly. Like give us some hype.
Yeah, like showing us a few other weapons that you're going to show us in another trailer anyways is not spoiling anything.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I guess the weird no-show for me was, I guess, where's this Fire Emblem game that everyone's talking about?
If it ever comes, yeah.
I think showing the Wind Waker on GameCube was just kind of like, okay, like we've had a better version than this on the Wii U. Just port it already. Like, come on. And it did feel a little weird. It felt like they are putting a lot of weight on Mario Kart, where if you remember the Switch 1 unveiling, I think Nintendo had a lot more to lose. It was a make or break moment. They had Mario Kart, they had Splatoon, they had Zelda, they had 3D Mario. They really like laid it out there. Xenoblade 2. Like they Fire Emblem Warriors, I think they announced. Like they really like showed a lot.
Yeah.
Where this one was kind of like, if you think about the same lineup in terms of first party, it's like, Mario Kart is huge, Donkey Kong's huge, Kirby Air Ride, Metroid Prime, I guess, is huge. You kind of already showed us that. And Hyrule Warriors. And like a wheelchair game. It doesn't have the same gravitas.
Agreed. Just so you know, I got an update. It looks like the enhancement, like the Switch 1 to Switch 2 enhancement upgrade, will be $10 upgrades for US without content and $20 with content.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's doable.
That's good, yeah. I really hope we get a release date for Metroid Prime 4. That's one thing I was hoping to get.
Yeah. I think we'll get that soon. I'm hoping, I still have a little bit of faith, maybe 5%, that'll happen in the next 2 days.
Yeah, I agree. But, I mean, Silksong, Metroid, Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, I'm pretty happy this year.
Yeah, we got a good year coming up. I'm not necessarily complaining. Yeah.
What are you going to give this out of 10, Derek, this direct and this unveiling?
I give it an 8.5.
Okay. I'm going to give it, I want to say 8.5 too, but I want to lean towards 9. I think without the leaks and us knowing everything, they kind of nailed all the things we needed them to nail. Mario Kart looks better than I could have imagined. Donkey Kong is fresher than I could have imagined. But it just needed that. I needed that one more thing to be a 9.5 or a 10.
Yeah, not a FromSoft game. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to just a side note. Arguably, some of the third-party announcements for Switch 1 were stronger than this. I mean, at least then
sure.
we got... At least then they announced the new exclusive Shin Megami Tensei, Octopath, No More Heroes 3, which didn't end up being that good anyways, but still, the hype. This one we only got the From Software as a exclusive. I know the landscape's different now, but like the only real third-party exclusive we got was the From Software game.
Yeah.
Man, Microsoft, where were you? I mean, they are the biggest third-party publisher, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe we'll see them down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, anyways, Derek, I'm going to land on 8.5, but I'm still excited. I'm really looking forward to watching all these trailers again right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it in the end overall. And, regardless, the Switch 2 is so close. June 5th. Can't wait.
Yeah. Well, Derek, I think that just about wraps up our time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is Nintendo Bros. Pete signing out.
This is Derek. See you later.